Come on in, guys. Welcome to Plz Survive podcast. I am Molly McAleer, and I have seen my 5th episode of Survivor officially.
I'm Rob Schulte, and I've seen a lot of them. I'm very casual at this game, and I think that's why it's gotten me so far.
I'm Jessica, and I am the super fan. Here
New
I
buff.
am.
New
Yep,
buff.
new buff. A different one
buff.
than last time. Still have the streak going.
I do have to say, before we dive immediately into today's episode, I have dove into that HBO show Neighbors, and there is definitely a guy who most likely has schizophrenia, but loves wearing his Survivor buff, and that's the only thing I could watch the entire episode.
Was that episode 2?
Yes, I believe 2 or 3. Yeah, it's early on.
It's a crazy show. Like, things have to be so, you don't understand how far gone things have to be to say, I would like to take my neighbor and go on HBO, of all networks with them, HBO, and do like a premiere presentation about how we're both batshit, but one is always going to be worse.
Yeah, that's the way it is, but I guess it's this fame world we live in, always trying to get famous.
Honestly, after this week, I feel like you might see Charlie and Rizzo on Neighbors, but Charlie doth protest a little too much for me, honey. Those exit interviews, now, you guys have really gotten me in this, because I'm all like, so did you guys watch the exit interviews? Like, I'm all in it. And
I've never watched an exit interview. I mean, I've seen clips every now and then, but I've never, tuned into one. So tell me all about it.
Well, it's just they're like the best hope that something I might glean some extra insight or whatever. So that's how I started watching them. But, I mean, it's like they do the rounds after the fact. Rob has a podcast, and there's a few other guys. It seems like there's a few media spots. Some of them are feel really small to me too, which I kind of like. But yeah,
I want to shout out to my faves. I love Mike Bloom's post game exit interviews, and Sharon Tharp's also. I think they do a really good job.
Cool. I got to check those out. I think Mike Bloom might have followed me from years ago, so I should return the favor. So this is good to know.
Make those inroads.
In honor of Charlie, I have my Eras t-shirt on.
I also put on a Life of the Showgirl, Life of a
And in honor of Charlie, I'm wearing all black.
Because I actually truly don't have much nice to say about him.
Look, I got raked over the coals, folks, for my I say one person didn't like my comment on TikTok, but I stand by it, and I think this episode proves it.
I know. And you know what? Here's the thing. I think Charlie saw your video too, or
that was Charlie's Finsta?
Well, this was in one of the exit interviews. Was either this was a very common sentiment that they watched Charlie in the last episode and said, this guy needs to go to fucking therapy, which was also kind of my takeaway too. But you really clocked it, and even went so far as to say, and in a way that I thought was so important, because I feel you can say this. And I think that you do, I feel as someone who knows you pretty decently at this point, that you're a very thoughtful person, and you wouldn't just throw out, go to fucking therapy, Charlie. I can't tell, by the way. We got one comment about me saying the F word on here last week, and I couldn't tell either way. They wrote it was TUF, which I know it can be used as
confused.
A positive or a negative.
We're adults. It's fine.
But you said you need to, I would hate to see who's on the receiving end of this when we're not on the island.
Yeah. That's
he
scary. Not that I think he's a dangerous man by any means. I just think that, if this is what we're getting on TV, oh, God,
something very unhealed there. And then in, the first, 10 minutes, I sent you guys a text when I was listening to it, and I said, Charlie is not doing well. I said, he's a very unhealed individual, I think I said to you guys, because he was focusing a lot. It was a whole segment of his Rob Sesternino interview where he was just sort of talking about how people talk on social media and people telling him he needs to go to therapy. And I was like,
sorry,
rough look.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like Rob is a great person to sort of like give that advice. And in that fashion, I am ready to bestow a coach like nickname to you.
Ooh.
Well, wait, what was the advice? I don't think Rob knows.
Wait, or are you talking about me, Rob, or
No,
Rob's sister?
you,
You,
Rob.
Rob.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right,
you,
I am
Rob.
ready for this.
I have a coach like nickname for you, and it is the Sonic Soother.
I like that.
That is really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys.
And for you, my friend,
What?
It's a double nickname.
we have the Mouthy Magistrate.
I mean, listen, I'll take it, but I feel like all three of us definitely do a lot of talking on this podcast. So,
For
Mm,
sure. For sure. I mean, no one volunteered to give me one. But
well,
also,
that's coming. That's coming. Don't worry.
magistrate is somebody who, gives out fair justice. So
you know
even
that.
even though I said mouthy, I mean like what you say, it hits.
Mhm.
Well, thanks, Jess. And you know what? We can all say that it's definitely true because, well, I was the one who said we should just turn this into a survivor advice podcast. So I always was willing to add a twist of here's how it's going to be, you guys. So I don't have a nickname for you because I just did not come up with one, but I'm sure I will throughout this episode.
Jess, I did come up with a nickname for you.
Good. Good.
The
Reveal
island.
that whenever you want.
I'm going to do it right now just to get it out of the way, but not to outshine Molly. I thought of this. The Island Archivist. All right. Look,
And
I'll work on a better
I'll
one
tell
later,
you,
okay?
suck ass freak is what I called you in the because I made a clip for you to post of the Gabby and Christian of it all. And you even where I was not even confusing her of anything diabolical. And then you wrote Molly wanted to know if Gabby and Christian have something going on, but you guys know they're just the cutest best friends, right? And I was like, give it a rest. I cannot be the only person who has sensed this dynamic between them. And also, I don't know. Do we even have a shot of getting Christian or his wife on this podcast?
I think
Oh, no. I wasn't concerned about that. I just think it's cute when boys and girls are friends.
No, I know. Me too.
it is cute. I also think that it's really funny. This goes back to what we said, I think, a couple episodes ago. The social media is ran by Jess, and it is from Jess's POV, and we are living in that world, and that's what's important.
It is true. It is true. So let's get into this episode. Because I watched this after I watched Age of Attraction. I had my little TikTok live setup up because I think we went from, I was maybe going to talk about some Nancy Guthrie updates. Then I was like, fuck it. I just want to watch Age of Attraction. Then I was like, well, I got to watch Survivor. Maddie, who's always in my chat, I said, Maddie, get out of here. He watches with his mom. So then I watched it and I was like, is this group viewing experience, which I can't say I was really too engaging with the group. In fact, I found out later that at one point I had completely shut off my comments. So I was just watching it by myself. I might have indulged in an herbal treat. But I think this was the episode that I kind of got really into Survivor.
What about it grabbed you?
Yeah.
I feel like the double elimination really grabbed me. But, and this is huge, at a certain point, something has to click for me or it's never going to click. And this was the first challenge that I watched and I could track everything that was going on. It was clean. And I think the swimming that diving, that first start, that really got me in.
Yeah.
And by the way, everyone should have dove like Jonathan dove,
like Ozzy dove.
Yeah, are you brand new? You can't just jump in after two people dive. You've already lost.
I was going to say.
Stephanie had a good dive also.
Yeah, I think that I understand some people are scared to do that sort of thing, but you're on Survivor, and sometimes that 2 seconds it takes to right yourself in the water can be and it wasn't this time, but like looking at like Joe falling off of that like a tree getting cut down in the woods.
That could have been one beanbag toss that
yeah, exactly.
end.
But I mean, of course, Tiff made up for all of that time by like, I don't know what she was doing, whipping that rope around. That was incredible.
I've never seen anything like that. That was, I mean, like a lasso freak. That
you know
was
what
amazing.
it was? It was like two sets of orangutans learning how to like wash their sweet potatoes with sand. And it just happened one day, right?
Is that your Jeff impression? Doing an analogy?
I was just.
He just might be slipping into Jeff mode.
Oh no! This is my Colby.
It's like Teen Wolf, but with Rob turning into Jeff.
Well, actually, Rob, let's bring it back on track.
No, I'm just saying, like, it's one of those things where it's like everyone has the ability to do it, but you have to see, like, someone has to do it first, and then it's like, of course, why didn't we all do it this way? Kind of like, and Jess, I don't want to derail us too much, but can you remind me, and in doing so, tell Molly, like the fire challenges? Now, I don't want to get too deep into the lore because Molly's going to end up seeing this at a certain point, but it used to be like you would choose one person and then other people would have to make fire at a certain point in the show. But then at one point, someone clicked like, oh, this is like redundant. We need to just like send someone to do this. Am I remembering that correctly?
No.
Okay, never mind.
No, no, you're not. No.
I swear there was one thing where they changed fire making.
Yes, they did. They added it, and that's what screwed Chrissy. Chrissy should have won her season, and because they wanted this other guy, Ben, to win, they added fire making.
Okay.
So
I'm not getting clear on it. So there's a challenge where they have to make fire at night?
And I'm trying to be cagey about it because I don't know if I want to like spoil this first viewing for you, but it's not that big of a deal.
I will also say the arch puzzle was that is a beast. That could have been it's so hard to do that.
Yeah, imagine if you have a team with a bunch of shorter people.
Well, that's why I don't understand how Jonathan's team lost.
Yeah. That's wild. Anyway, I derailed us. We should get back into this. The challenge was fun.
Another thing I loved about this episode was what we touched on at the very beginning. Coach and the nicknames.
Yeah.
That was a moment that felt so fucking surreal to me. You have to imagine. I mean, if you can. I'm a little toasted. I am watching Survivor, leaned back in this weird way so that I can vape while on TikTok live. So I'm like completely out of the shot, far away. And I'm watching it sort of almost sideways through my phone that's pointed at my computer. This is a setup I have. And I'm just like, is this fucking for real? Like, is this ceremonial thing? And what did he say? He was into Japanese mythology now?
Not just now. I think this is Coach.
He's been giving people honorary nicknames for years and years and years. This isn't a new bit.
But he used to give nicknames that were like, you are the Wizard King.
Yeah.
You know, and quite frankly, Joe's nickname is the Stone Belt Monk. And Colby's nickname is the Oak-Bound Warrior.
So this is what I'm saying, is that like he said something and I can't remember exactly what, but I think he had sort of enriched himself with like Japanese mythology or something like that. And through that, he realized that the kind of nicknames he was giving were actually like antithetical to the right energy that he wanted to put out there. So he was giving nicknames from a place of much more honor. And so I was not surprised that the guy used to dish out nicknames. Okay, that's not what was surprising to me. What was crazy about it is I could tell it was such a tonal shift from whatever he used to do. And it was bizarre. Like, it's bizarre.
Well, he's never given a nickname to someone that old before. He used to do it to, like, the younger kids in the tribe. He never gave it really to, like, a peer, you know, or to, like, Colby, who's sort of, like, like a grandfather of this game, from being in season 2. So that's different because he used to give it to like dumbass kids.
Guess what? Speaking of dumbass kids, no, I'm kidding. But my friend Heather has a son named Colby, and it's because of Colby.
It is because of Survivor.
Yes.
Okay, this is being reported back from episode 1.
I was like, Heather's one of my friends that I met when I was talking about the Karen Reed trial a lot, and she is, I had no idea that she was a Survivor fan. It's like so interesting how your internet friends from one area will keep making their way back in your life.
Yeah, that's wild. Also, Coach, just give him a nickname like Lightning Bolt or something. I think that the biggest, most surreal thing of this nickname moment for me was I could tell, not as much in Joe, but from Colby, how much they wanted this conversation to end. Like, just, can we get to the point here, Coach? I know you're like soaking up the screen time with this, but like, okay, Oakbound Warrior, great. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well,
yeah. Well, at least Aubrey made a new friend this episode and linked up with Coach. So maybe next episode she'll get a nickname, which would be great to give a woman a nickname. And I don't know, it took Aubrey 10 whole days to try to like make a friend, but I'm glad she did. I feel like it's continuing her trajectory towards like positive.
Well, just like in what you sent us from the screenshots of Angelina's Instagram post, right? Like, I mean, it's the Christian show, and they could be doing a lot better to give the ladies on the show an edit that, like, says anything. I mean, let alone Tiff, who's gotten, what, like 2 talking heads, maybe?
yeah.
And I think that Aubrey is part of this too. Like, I think they are deliberately trying to give us Q's version of Aubrey in the edit. And that is, I like Aubrey and I want more Aubrey.
Yeah, when we went through the cast list, Rob and I, when he helped me try and figure out who all these people were, when we got to Tiffany, I said, "Oh, well, that person's not on this show."
Well,
I still think I might feel that way if I hadn't learned.
I gotta tell you guys that I am so annoyed about the lack of representation that I am really, really incessant on going on the show, and I'm gonna make a audition tape, and I couldn't think about what I was gonna wear in the tape, so here's actually what I think I'm gonna wear.
The reveal. It's a reveal.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that it's the only way I can get cast.
Just the comedy beard moment is so unexpected, and I'm absolutely obsessed with it right now. But wait, okay. I am naive here. So I don't know if they're tucking away information for later because, as we all know, sometimes if you don't see from someone or hear from someone much, that means good things for their longevity in the game, right? And I'm almost wondering, like, is this a finale that winds up being mostly women or something remaining?
I think that the second half is gonna have to be, I don't wanna say women heavy, 'cause that doesn't sound right, but female forward, if you will. But on the other hand, I can't imagine that Angelina doesn't know. Actually, maybe they don't know who wins if it's gonna be a live finale.
Well,
But
that's right.
regardless, the point stands that Zach Brown should not have more confessionals than Tiffany.
No.
Horrific. And, just like Angelina complaining or Chrissy complaining about the fart jokes, like, I don't need to see that. Come on.
Yeah.
Grow up. Like, you already had to do the poop stuff. Now you're having fart jokes. Just let a woman talk.
I know. Well, I mean, this is what I'm saying is that it's the Christian agenda.
And
And that's not
Christian,
the Christian agenda that we typically refer to in this country, but I do think
I think that Christian's edit has now like passed the Rubicon where he actually cannot win, and he's
Yeah.
gonna be going out soon.
He needs to be going out soon. He was wearing his shit pants this episode. Man, you gotta.
But like,
I was surprised to not see his name get tossed out more, like, in his tribe, because I know if I'm ready to say goodbye to Christian, they've all got to be clocking that shit.
I think it's that Ozzy and Stephanie truly, truly care about winning in like the sports way. And so they like couldn't have it in them to weaken their tribe.
Mm.
And and I feel like they felt like Angelina was the one to let go. But I gotta tell you the truth. Emily, Christian, and Angelina, like all three of them are gonna be the same at catching a ball. And that same is gonna be not good. So who cares? Might as well get rid of Christian.
I think they're all well, actually, I mean, I think this. I want to know your two's thoughts on this. They all have to realize that a merge is coming soon, or at least another tribe swap. So do we think that that is informing any of these decisions too once they lose another immunity challenge? Because
Well,
that doesn't matter as much when it's all solo.
I think CeeLo would have gotten rid of Jonathan then. Because why wouldn't you vote out the biggest physical threat, who's like, you know, a WWE basically, like, you know.
Well, I was specifically thinking of Christian's tribe, but you're absolutely right over there that would be a thing. But I'm thinking if I'm on the tribe that's gone every single time and we are whittled down to nothing, be like, well, then who cares? Who cares? We're all about to be every person for themselves, you know?
And we don't have obviously great skills here. Like we can't carry this over somewhere else. But question, Rob, I know that we know from the previews that something is about to happen that's monumental. But my question for you is, why do you like normally on the show, they just did a tribe swap. Normally on the show, why would they on the island be thinking like, oh, a tribe swap is probably coming soon?
Because every single season, there's always going to be a merge where everyone just becomes one tribe. So they know that's going to happen. I think they're at least going, okay, that's going to happen soon because of just the numbers of our team is getting to the point and just the number of days on the show. But they're also going, yeah, but Jeff may do another swap before that. Like they're just, I think, weighing their options.
Or they might go from 3 to 2 tribes.
Yeah, perfectly. Yeah, that could be it.
Because that happens sometimes. They've even done this garbage thing where they've gone to 2 tribes and then back to 3 tribes.
Oh, God, I forgot about that.
Which that better not happen.
No. Should we talk a little bit since we're talking like Aussie? Like, I found it interesting that not even that interesting, but like they really lingered on Aussie's like post tribal frustrations and then, but don't worry, he meditates in the morning, so he's not that sore of a loser. And I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure how much. I think Ozzy is legitimately realizing like I gotta control my temper because that's not going to help me in the game, and I do need to like sit with myself and think about it. But I'm not sure how much of the gameplay is represented there in terms of like he definitely wants Christian out, and that's not the move for Ozzy right now.
Yeah,
and it didn't end up happening, you know. But yeah,
but the real issue is that should have been a Angelina scene, not an Ozzy scene, because
totally,
like Angelina and Mike White are like best friends in real life. So that's who you want to hear about who's affected by this blindside, not Ozzy.
I also
and Charlie made a really interesting comment in an exit interview I just watched because there's a couple more than I thought, and I was just trying to grab up Angelina and Charlie things before I came on here. He made a comment that I don't think he meant to be as shady boots as it was, but he was like, he's like, and I think Ozzy will be good on White Lotus.
Ooh.
And I don't think it was. You should, if it was, he said it like the driest thing ever.
That feels Charlie though. That, I mean.
Well, also, Angelina and Charlie are the besties now because they're boot buddies. And so when asked what was the best thing about playing the game, they both said meeting each other and becoming friends.
Oh, because Mike White left the Ponderosa to go get his own food.
Yeah, so I think that Charlie maybe was doing Angelina's dirty work by saying that.
That's interesting. Did Mike leave Ponderosa?
Yes.
Yeah.
He wouldn't stay there.
Because we were talking about this in our household about how, maybe Mike's been kind of shady on all of his interviews because he's just sitting there talking to Angelina and gossiping the whole time.
No, he wouldn't eat the food. So he paid for his own hotel room.
He said he was vegan, so
stayed there.
He's like, "I didn't wanna eat shitty vegan." Can I say something about food, though, that really killed me? When fucking I think it was, like, Joe walked over to Emily with the scallop. Oh, no, it was Ozzy, and
Ozzy,
she
yeah.
was like, "Scallop." And, like, the way she said it and then ate this food, it reminded me of my friend Sean from college who, like, if you ever had a bag of chips in front of you or whatever, he'd be like, "Dorito." Like, "What is this? Do you mind if I try one?" I was just like, that is kind of a clever way to, like, get someone to give you their food is to just pretend that you've never heard of a fucking scallop before.
Beef jerky? Is it what? I've never
Yeah,
heard of
it
that
was
animal.
so funny, but sorry, Jess, I cut you off when you were
That's okay.
talking.
That's all right. Just, like, I wonder if, you know, maybe not even like he was on purpose doing Angelina's dirty work, or if just like in so many of their post-game conversations, they joked about Ozzy wanting it, and
Yeah.
so it was like natural to come out of Charlie's mouth.
But now, before we move on too much further, I had a thought that I wanted to bring to the table for the group, and that is, do we think Mike White had a say in certain cast members being invited to the island for season 50?
Yes,
Because,
Angelina.
okay, but just Angelina? So, A, is that verified? And B, do you think only Angelina?
Not verified, and I think only Angelina.
Okay, because I could see Mike being like, I mean, Angelina for sure, but I could see him being like Christian because I know I can attempt
Work
to
him.
work him, and then it worked him.
I mean, I'm sure all the players got to say, you know, who they'd like to see again, but then someone like Mike, like, it was probably a big deal to get him to come back,
Yeah.
and so they gave some extra preference, you know?
I mean, he doesn't even have to stay at Ponderosa.
Yeah.
But the thing is that, like, yes, Mike White is, White Lotus, but the two most memorable characters from that season are Angelina and Christian, not Mike.
Yeah. I mean, I agree.
So,
I
like,
loved Angelina that season
loved.
so
I have a
much.
question for you guys, and I know I asked this
You don't
last
get it,
week.
right? You don't get it?
No, that's not it. Get it? No. It's there was something that she was mentioning in her exit interviews, and I had asked you last week, like, I was like, what was her deal when she said she's changed a lot? I was like, was she a party girl? And you guys gave me some really, I didn't know what that even, like, I've thought about that over the last week. And I'm like, Molly, what does that even mean in the context of Survivor? And then maybe I thought what I meant was unserious. But what I wrote down this week was, what was Angelina's deal again last time? Something about her being not self-aware, because I noticed that Rob was, like, really praising her for gaining self-awareness in a way that, like, I don't know, if I was, like, a 40-something woman, I'd probably put a gun in my mouth if someone was
Not
telling
me. Not
like,
me.
"Molly, you've really, like, gained some self-awareness." Like, what does that even mean?
That's not, but you're talking Rob Sesternino, right?
No. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Rochester,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Because I don't think I mean, I understand that point of view, but
I think also in the way that Charlie spoke in Tribal Council about being the main character of your own story and having the ability to watch it back, I think that Angelina, maybe more than anybody, perhaps watched her season back and was like, when I tried to do a rice negotiation while I was like doing that for the tribe and doing something awesome, like not everybody loved that. Or like not everybody thought they should give me a jacket because they're leaving. I think like she just became like more aware of just how other people perceive her from
yeah,
actually watching them perceive her.
she was,
She was so much more subdued this time.
yeah, she
What
was
was she,
so
Rob? Give me an example of, like,
She went and like climbed this ladder, right? That was attached to a little bit of a bluff. Now, Jess, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was like,
I don't know if I'm going to remember this.
okay, so for example, she goes and she like does this task to get I don't remember what the reasoning was, but she climbed up this bluff and it was maybe 5 feet off of the ground. And she comes back to the tribe and she was like, you all will never understand the feat I just did. I just climbed a 30-foot wall and there was nothing there to save me and I could have literally fallen off, and everyone's like, wow. And then they like cut to the scene and it's like literally like the easiest thing to scale. So she just like delusions of grandeur that she couldn't see.
narrator.
well, like, they're hungry, and so she was like, I don't remember the exact thing that she offered, but it was something like, "Jeff, if we give you our tarp and our, like, blankets, can you give us more rice? Because 'Cause we're starving." And nobody before that had ever actually tried to negotiate with Jeff, like, for something, so she was the first person to do that, and now they do it all the time, but, like, sort of just, like, the audacity of that moment, even though it doesn't sound crazy, it sounds logical, she was the first to do it.
Well, I would think, yeah, if I was in the show, I would think like, "Oh, I probably can't talk to Jeff like that, like human to human," you know?
And even breaking is this breaking a rule? Like, are you
Right.
gonna, like,
And, like, she
pun
did it at a challenge,
Yeah.
like, you know
So, I wanna talk about we're all out of order, I guess, but I think this might get us right back to where we were, as Rizzo and his narrative and his lies. And I have to say, as someone who has never seen Survivor, but I know Suri. I know I didn't even really watch her season of Traitors. I've mostly skimmed it. But I know from all of my friends who love, love, love this show that she is the queen.
Mhm.
Okay.
and she's not even the one who calls herself the
When Rizzo got that connection with her this week, I felt this joy for him as someone who I don't even really care about Rizzo, but I know for him as a fan of this show, wha
Chills.
he must have been fucking freaking out because I know I just watched someone win the lottery.
Yeah. Well, and to then flip this onto the Cerie side of things, I love Cerie's, confessionals where she's like, this is good. This is, I do kind of trust this little weirdo. I'm not getting cooked when I'm working with him. But I think what we're not hearing from Cerie is what makes her one of the best game players is she's sitting there in that hammock going, what's the edit going to look like here? Old school, new school, team up, super fan favorite, team up. No one's going to want to see this eliminated until very close to the end of the game. So it's going to make good TV. And also, Rizzo will do whatever I say from this point on.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, like, the team up of Dee, Rizzo, and Cirie, I think is really amazing because Dee's a winner, so she is a shield in her own way. Cirie's a shield from a social point of view. Rizzo is a shield because you could vote him out anytime, and also no one knows what his game is. So it's almost like I don't want to call any of them misfits because I actually think that they're way better than the rest of the people in the game. But like I think that Camilla might actually be the smartest person on the island, and
Yeah.
the fact that she's choosing to go with that side, I think tells you a lot, and that also, to me, that feels now like the strongest alliance of the game, and at some point, they're gonna backstab each other, but
And I
Rizzo
think they're a team that knows they're going to like, they're
yes,
not fooling
however
themselves.
Yeah.
However, I think they have sort of like a gentleman's agreement of
Yes.
like, we're not going to backstab each other until we have to, because that's how Rizzo played last season. That's how Cirie always plays.
Yes.
That's how Camilla played. And I can't remember Dee's season well enough to say.
And I think this is even made even better the fact that Rizzo tries to win Camilla over by being like, oh, yeah, when I spent time with Kyle, he's like, oh, if you get to connect with her. And she's like, okay, well, that's total bullshit. But now I've got that ace up my sleeve. So, and I don't think it was the Charlie coming to her 6 hours later about the boomerang idol. I don't believe any of that. I think it was the fact that Rizzo is the better person to team up with as a whole with my crew, because I also can then go back and be like, this guy lied to me about
Well,
Kyle.
and she now knows what he looks like when he lies.
Yes, yes.
That's a good point. I mean, I really did take that, Charlie is a slow game player thing to heart because that's what would be pissing me off too. Is like, can we just get down to fucking like enough pussyfooting around this? Let's
Yeah.
get down to business.
Yeah.
Like, Where are we? Like, give me the information. But I gotta say, well, two things really quickly. I was a little surprised that Suri said, I don't really have my friend group here yet, because I would think that she'd be the first one everyone's darting to, but maybe because like she's such a smart social player, there could also be some fear in like going and trying to strike up a relationship with her, because if it doesn't stick,
It's
then
it's
you're
almost like
out.
you it's almost like you have to be summoned, not literally summoned, but like an aura summoning. Like the way
Mhm.
that she like sits in the hammock, it's almost like if she's sitting like that, arms wide open, it's like you can come talk to me. If she's sitting like, like closed up, it's like, all right, maybe she doesn't, mess with me. And I don't think it's like manipulative on her part. I think it's literally just like her survivor like aura.
You gotta know the vibes. You gotta know when to check in, when's your time. But I gotta say, the most bone chilling part of this episode had to be Charlie waking Rizzo up in that fucking rowboat at dawn, pre-dawn, okay? And to be like, "Who'd you tell about our friend Billy?" It's psychotic.
It was it was crazy. I mean, it played crazy.
Doesn't this go back to one of the other seasons? Was it Charlie's season where he was like, oh, all these people are talking before everyone wakes up?
He said that he does his best work before like the sun comes up. That's when he does all his moves. But as we know, Rizzo doesn't like to do any sort of work, so of course he likes to sleep.
In a canoe.
Yeah, and also, like, this "I work best at 4 a.m." thing is a pretty toxic mindset, like, that I'll tell you what, you're never getting me on your team. If you, 1, wake me up, and 2, try to get me to commit to something, like, when I'm starving, probably not well rested. I'm worried about Rizzo's body, truthfully, on that canoe. That's, like, not a smart way to sleep,
No.
but
But you're
yeah.
only 26 once, or 27 or whatever.
Mhm.
Sleep in all the canoes you can. I
It's
have a quick thought about this, though. When Rizzo and Charlie are talking and he tells him that he told
Jonathan.
Jonathan, I was going to say David versus Goliath, which also would be wrong. I know that's a lie, but I'm having trouble even understanding the strategy of that.
It's so stupid because out of all of the people on the cast, Jonathan is the least likely to ask anybody about an idol.
Yeah.
Like that, like, are you going to ask Suri how much she benches? No. It's like
Jonathan
this.
asked me to pray with him, and afterwards he was asking me about an idol.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and it's so funny because Charlie does that, and then Rizzo clocks it immediately, and then Rizzo lies to Camilla. Camilla clocks it immediately.
Yeah. It's wonderful. I
Yeah,
just
I mean,
don't.
Operation Bad Blood, baby.
Ooh.
I'm
Charlie
disappointed that
kept
this.
saying
Yeah,
I just knew it was low-hanging fruit. I knew someone was gonna do Taylor Swift stuff for me. It was low-hanging fruit. And it's like, well, yeah, it's the fruit you gave.
You are the tree of life, and this is what
Mhm.
you have offered them.
And I'll say this. Another thing he kept saying, sorry, Jess, I feel like I keep cutting you off.
that's all right.
Another thing he kept saying was, it really wasn't that big of a deal. Like his thing with it's like wasn't even his story. It's like I guess that's what they picked up on. But like typically when people are unsatisfied with their edits and they speak about that publicly, and I'm not just saying Survivor, all reality shows. They'll say, they didn't do any of this great stuff from my relationship with so and so. They didn't show any of how I was doing this. And like, he just had no other thing. And it was sort of this thing where it was almost like, I don't know. I mean, like, gaslighting isn't the exact right term, but it was just this thing where it was like, yeah, I mean, if that's what they picked up on, and it's like, well, Charlie, yeah, like, I mean, you clearly talked about it enough that they were able to piece together a story.
So obviously, show don't tell, right? So I feel like the editors showed us because Charlie's sitting around at camp saying nothing's really happening here. There's no strategy going on.
Like
What?
that should be the biggest red flag for you, Charlie.
What? Okay, so you actually really didn't have anything else going on then.
Yeah. Well, and no one wanted to strategize with you.
I love Dee's disdain for like that Jonathan Devon's Charlie situation. That cracked me up.
I was surprised to see Devon's wanting to go with Jonathan.
I have a theory about that. I think Cirie low-key is still in with Devon's and was like, here's what's going to happen. Continue, like, put the vote on Rizzo so that people don't think that we're still aligned. And I think that Devon's knew the whole time. And it's believable that he knew the whole time because we already know he did that fake idol piece of paper. So we know that he's like into bluffing in this game. So I think it's actually possible that Devon's knew.
I forgot Devon's was in this tribe until tribal council at the end.
He juggled last week. Come on.
I know, but
he had the best talent.
I just didn't hear anything. By the way, Charlie also was making fun of Rizzo's Mickey Mouse and said that he noticed on social media because he said, "It's a me, Mickey Mouse." And so he was like, "That's Mario."
Yeah.
And I was like, "You're not convincing me."
Somebody said that the Mickey Mouse was actually like the Mickey Mouse impression that they do on South Park, but I'm too old for any of that, so I don't even want to weigh in.
But I will say this, is that, and I probably will still rail on Charlie if the opportunity presents itself, but I will say that I do understand that there was $1 million on the line. And that's what Charlie is having a hard time letting go of, is the fact that he lost $1 million. And I think it's a very average American problem out there to like realize that $1 million is a life-changing amount of money and to be upset about that.
Sure.
That said, how many people are there on an average season?
18?
18. Like, you have a 1 in 18 chance.
Or 16?
Going
like
in to a game like this to win $1 million. It is never your $1 million, even when it's just the last two of you. You're playing a game. And I know, like, from, playing cards or betting or whatever, like, you start to feel like, okay, this is mine. But you have to remember, ultimately, at the end of the day, it's a game. You never had $1 million. You never had $1 million to be taken from you,
Well, I know we need to dish out some advice, but is there anything from this episode that we haven't discussed that you all want to make sure we talk about before? Because I know I want to at least touch on, we haven't really ever talked about when they do a next time on. But, or like the post-credits confessionals from the people who got booted. And there's just a couple of things there I'd like to talk about. But I think if there's anything else from the meat of the episode.
I just really wanted to note that when the other tribe, when the Christian tribe got to tribal, they go to Stephanie and she says, wow, the numbers get smaller in the game.
You don't say, Steph.
Are you new?
Yeah.
I also want to, the one other thing that I forgot is that I don't know if this clicked for me until this episode or it's just something that jumped out more to me. Is that whoever receives the boomerang idol doesn't know it's a boomerang idol.
Right.
They just think it's been gifted to them as an idol. So there's a chance that as we move on to the end of this episode, we know that they're merging next episode, or at least they're alluding to the tribes merging next episode. Rizzo might be an easy person to get out because he doesn't know anyone. And if Genevieve wants that idol back, she's going to want to blindside Rizzo.
And we see the next time on, there's a picture of Cirie and Genevieve sitting together.
Okay. The only other thing is I wanted to, the showing the votes, I'm booted confessionals. I know we've kind of railed on Charlie a bit, but like legitimately seeing him put his face in his hands, I was like, man, you just know what you did, and that's too bad. I feel bad for him.
I love the voting confessionals. I really, really wish they'd bring them back.
Oh, you mean like more people as they're voting saying their reason? Yeah.
Yeah, because like they also often were like nasty or like maybe not, I mean, or funny, and I feel like it's like a moment where you get to see more personality, like, every time Courtney Yates voted in China in Heroes versus Villains, it was absolute gold. Every single time.
Yeah. Well, should we dole out advice?
Yeah, and I want to go first because it's just a little bit of what I think is a slight prediction, slight what I have a complaint about next week already, if if not. So we know next week is going to be a big, never before done in Survivor history, right? And so I guess my advice is to the producers, and maybe you were listening, I don't know. But I feel like you already kind of fucked things up with the Zach Brown stuff. That is so weird. The Billie Eilish thing is so strange. Jess, you had said something when we were texting earlier that you think that this big surprise might be that there are 3 eliminations. And I'm going to say that just none of that is crazy enough for me. I feel like just some sort of like, slightly accelerated version of something that's already done on the show is not going to be enough of a twist. And if you guys are already in crazy town with like this Zach Brown thing, please give us fucking crazy town. Like I want something so much bigger than just this, like a 3-person elimination. Like I want some sort of challenge that's very ugly or like and involves more like secrets and truths, like, having to say something really fucking nasty to someone's face. Like I want that if we're going to do this. And I would imagine that even though it seems that like some of the fans are pretty prudish about what's allowed on this show, I think that there's probably a lot of people over the years who've maybe wished that players were able to own their resentments more plainly, or really get a chance to tell someone off. And I would like that, not just a demand, like a requirement to be direct and say something unpopular.
Love that.
Yeah. Bring back Mean Survivor within
Yes.
within the context of the game. Like none of like the old like sexist, racist, homophobic stuff. Just like you screwed me over, I'm coming for you. Like that kind of
That
within
would
the
be
game.
crazy if that was the twist for next week's Survivor. If it was just, all right, guys, you got to just be racist.
Also, physical challenges. I want bring those back for the second half. Jess, do you want to go next
sumo
on
in the
advice?
water again? I have a quick piece of advice for Charlie, and then another piece of advice. I want Charlie to go listen to the Eras Tour mashup of Clean and Evermore, and then immediately after that, Evermore and Peter. And look at it from the point of view where Evermore is her talking to herself, and Peter is also her talking to herself. And I feel like it will make you clean and help heal yourself. And then to Chrissy and Tiffany, girls, I hear you. I see you. I see your tweets. I see your YouTubes. I see your Instagram stories. I see all of it. And do not stop complaining about the under edit of women. I think it is really a shame that they are under editing women. Like when you think about characters, like, yeah, there's Boston Rob, Tony, and Coach, but like there's Parvati, there's Sari, there's Sandra, there's like so many iconic women. Like, why aren't you celebrating women and the women that you chose to have on this season?
Love that. And it kind of ties into what I wanted to give a little piece of advice on. Now, this is just game strategy. But I think, as we've all discussed, Aubrey's, whether it's what's happening or an edit of this season, not doing a whole lot. And we know that Aubrey has the ability to do a whole lot, whether it's good or bad for her game. There's a reason she's on Survivor 50 and has played, 4 or 5 times at this point. I think she needs to put whatever thing she has with Genevieve behind her. And when this merge happens, we got to get another Black Widow alliance. I think, like, Parv's not there. Parv's never going to work with Jeff Probst again, right? I think that's been said. So channel your inner Parv, not just Aubrey, but maybe she needs to do that the most to, like, get this group together and really, like you were saying at the beginning, Molly, like, maybe this is because something's going to happen, but I want to direct it at Aubrey specifically because I think she needs a moment from what we've seen to really spark and ignite the fire to be a player in season 50. And whether or not people like Aubrey, I don't want her going out the way Charlie went out. I need it to be either in a blaze of glory or a win.
Go out playing.
Yes.
I think there's someone on our team that she really can't stand. And it might be Genevieve, but
sure.
I think there's something she can't say that's holding her back, because it doesn't seem like she's even enough of a people person to have ever wanted to go on this show.
Yeah.
I do also want to stop to the internet. Stop calling Rizzo, Suri, Camilla, and Dee Black Widow Brigade Part 2. Rizzo's a boy. He's a boy.
Mm-hmm.
He identifies as a boy.
Mm-hmm.
That's not Black Widow Brigade.
But he always teams up with ladies.
He's not a guy's guy.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's
but
not a guy's-
also, I agree.
He does.
I
love it.
Beth. I feel you.
I feel it.
He does.
Yeah,
I love it. But that's a special thing.
yeah,
It's
that
a
is not
special
Black Widow
thing.
Brigade.
With two of the greatest players of all time of the game. Just make a new name.
Yeah. It's why in either way. That is great advice for the listeners and to the commenters who love to leave their little phrases. But I'm okay. I'm okay. It's going to be fine.
And not your Charlie moment.
No, I fold like laundry to one comment. That's
Yeah,
against...
I gotta say, I'm very worried about Charlie, and I don't know why. Listen, I mean, he has everything going for him in terms, demographically. He's a young, attractive white male, right?
Who's a Harvard lawyer.
So even more so, right? But it feels like there's something with him that maybe he doesn't fully know himself, or something where there seems to be a real sort of underlying discomfort and rage in him. And I think that that's probably going to sound like a crazy word if you're not as sort of, I don't know, adjusted to the things I am. I see something something that concerns me very much underlying with Charlie. And I just he's set up for me to like him in so many ways. So many things about his design seem like someone I would like. And I left the exit interviews liking him even less and being more confused about what his fucking deal is.
Maybe he's going to take over for Probst.
Did you like Angelina more or less after watching the interviews?
I think that I finally I think I kind of maybe got her deal a bit more, but not really. I mean, we didn't spend much time with her. So we never, and that kind of goes to the confessional element of it. But I do think it's funny that she said that she and Mike had a conversation a couple days in where she was like, I'm not going to vote you out. It's just $1 million. She's like, if it was 2 or 3, it would be a different conversation, but it's just $1 million. You are worth so much more to me than $1 million. And again, sort of the inequity in that conversation. And also, I would say that about most of my friends, right? I would never sell you out for $1 million fucking, my best friends, absolutely not.
Right.
But in the context of, the context of it as a game, and with $1 million being, probably not an inconsequential amount of money, that, the guy that followed me this week, Nintendo, I think he goes
Davey?
by. Yeah, he's the one who shot the video of Christian and Gabby at the bar together. And Mike talked about his resentments for not being invited to that party. And then that guy, Davey, he was the one who said, no, Christian had that party because, my broke ass doesn't have cable right now or something. And I thought it was a very nice reminder of the fact that, these survivors do not go home and have, a huge hose of income to necessarily turn right on again. If you've been in any sort of transitional employment at some point and you are able to take off, X amount of months to go do Survivor, but he had mentioned that he was having problems with money, and it just made me think again about when Angelina was saying it's just $1 million. I was I don't know if I would have said that part.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, said Mike means too much to me.
That's a little bit of old Angelina popping through.
Yeah, good point.
Saying the quiet part out loud.
like the lack of self-awareness of that statement.
Yeah.
Well, this was another incredible episode, friends.
This was fun, you guys. Thanks so much for listening. You can write us an email if you want to get a piece of advice from us yourself at Plz Survive. Contact at plzsurvive.com. That's the email address. And then at Plz Survive Pod on every social media. And all of our other information will be in the description below. You guys, thanks. I think you made me a fan.
Finally.
Great.
This is great.
Great.
Well, I'm excited to see next week's episode.
Yep. Bye, you guys. Talk to you soon.
Bye.